Mitch McConnell speaking on the floor of the Senate today in response to the House-passed COVID-19 relief bill. I made a very smart decision of not streaming that all the way through on Friday night because we would have been here until 2:30 in the morning. That is when the House passed the COVID-19 legislation. It is now in front of the Senate. Apparently, it's going to be about 2 weeks. Democrats are hoping to pass the bill within 2 weeks. That means you may see your $1,400 in time for 420. So $2,000 out the door became $1,400. You can buy a few ounces before 420. Well, they were going as fast as they could. There was still, because we were covering it, the bill was still in committee by the time I came on with my stream on Friday. So just as soon as that bill got out of committee, after they finished marking it up, they were on the floor debating it. So they seriously did work round the clock last week to try to put the bill together. Now, you can criticize them for taking so long, but this was an incredibly complex bill. Because they had to do it, because they couldn't get any Republican support, they had to do it through reconciliation. Because of the filibuster, because Joe Manchin won't get rid of the filibuster. Because they had to do it through reconciliation, they had to throw bones to each different constituency. And they only get one reconciliation per fiscal year. Now they're going to end up with 2 or 3 during this year because of the way the fiscal years fall. The Republicans didn't use their one for last time. And they're going to end up with 2 more. So they're trying to cram as much, and that's another reason why, like, the Republicans attacked them for having a lot of pork, and I'm sure Mitch McConnell blasts Democrats. It's one of the things that he's going to do. Talk about the different pork. The liberal wish list, I'm sure, is going to be something that he says. But they only have one shot at this for now. So they had to cram as much shit into it as they could, dealing with budgetary matters. Because only budgetary matters can go through in reconciliation. I hope I explained that well. You might have heard about the thing with the parliamentarian on Thursday. The parliamentarian in the Senate ruled that a $15 minimum wage increase doesn't affect the budget, so therefore the Democrats wouldn't be able to pass it in reconciliation. Now, Kamala Harris can overrule the parliamentarian. And it appears that she's not going to. And hold on, I believe Smokey is at the door wanting in. Sorry, buddy, you shouldn't have gone out before the show. I have no clue how long he was swiping at the door because of the headphones. I feel sorry for him. Sometimes I'll be sitting here listening to music. I won't hear him wanting to come back in. Anyway, here's Mitch McConnell on the floor of the Senate earlier today.
Now, another matter, at about 2 o'clock on Saturday morning, House Democrats rammed through the bonanza of partisan spending they're calling a pandemic rescue package. Only Democrats voted.
Do what I tell you?
Both Republicans
Mitch, my boy,
Democrats voted against it. Last year, under a Republican Senate and a Republican administration, Congress passed 5 historic coronavirus relief bills, 5 of them. Not one of the 5 bills got fewer than 90 votes in the Senate or less than about 80% over in the House. But alas, this time, Democrats have chosen to go a completely partisan route.
Well, it's because Republicans won't give anything.
The editorial board is saying their half-baked plan is poorly targeted to what families need. So we've gone from passing COVID relief with 80%.
Several economists are saying it's not enough.
Majorities last year to the Speaker of the House ramming this through with just 50.7% of the House on Friday night. The bill contains all kinds of liberal spending on pet projects with no relationship whatsoever to pandemic relief. Now remember, we're almost to the one-year anniversary of a leading House Democrat admitting they see this whole crisis as, quote, a tremendous opportunity to restructure things to fit our vision, end quote. So, sorry to all the American families who've just been hoping to get their jobs back, their schools back, and their lives back. Democrats are more interested in some restructuring.
There's still a pandemic going on, Mitch.
Madam President, 1% of this huge package goes directly to vaccinations. 1% for vaccinations. That's why it proposes another 12-digit sum of federal funding for K through 12.
Now, didn't he mention jobs, but like he's going to deride all the
right now, about 95%
spending on infrastructure
this fiscal year. 95% of the school funding in this bill won't go out this year. And this is an emergency package. That's why they're pushing economic policies that would drag down our recovery.
Yeah, have you seen how long it takes to get legislation
For a one-size-fits-all
passed?
wage policy that would kill 1.4 million jobs, or continue to pay laid-off workers a premium to stay home that would extend well into a recovery.
Now, they love to bring up that 1.4 million jobs. You might have even heard people say that in comment sections. The report they're citing says increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour would lift 40 million people out of poverty. The report he is citing said it would lift 40 million people out of poverty. It would result in 1.4 million jobs lost, most of which would be extra jobs that people wouldn't need any longer because they would be earning a livable wage. It says it in the very same report he is citing. Yet he wants to come out here and be like, "Yes, 1.4 million jobs." Fucking Republicans are absolute morons. Now, Mitch McConnell's not a fucking moron. Mitch McConnell is a smart man. He's just a liar and an evil son of a bitch.
Job growth and rehiring will be pivotal. Whenever their long-term liberal dreams come into conflict with what Americans actually need right now, Democrats decided their ideology should win out. Well, Madam President, it didn't have to be this way. We could have built more practical policies to help the American people move forward. Some Senate Republicans literally went down to the White House to propose that both sides work together like we did 5 times.
A $600 billion bill.
So this is where we...
That I don't even think had checks for people in it.
A bad bill and a missed opportunity to do right.
So let that sink in. Those 10 Republicans that went down to the White House proposed a $600 billion bill that didn't even have checks for people in it. So they wanted Biden to cave on his campaign promise that he was already caving on for $2,000 checks. Not even send out checks. And they want to act like they tried to compromise with him. I wish Republicans could feel shame. So now this is Dick Durbin talking about overruling the parliamentarian on the minimum wage increase.
I first asked, after the minimum wage was voted out of the bill, a lot of progressives have written...
This is the Senate Majority Whip.
...like the parliamentarian to overrule, but also kind of where do you see the future of minimum wage now? What happens next?
I support an increase in the minimum wage, but it clearly cannot be on this reconciliation bill. If it takes 60 votes or a supermajority of some kind, it's going to be very difficult, obviously.
He is getting a phone call in the middle of an interview.
What do you say to the calls to overrule the parliamentarian from some in the House?
I think that is unlikely, and I would recommend that we look for another venue. I support increasing the minimum wage.
Vice President Harris could do that.
Vote for Attorney General Garland to be after this meeting today.
I'll be a lot smarter in about 45 minutes. We're going to take a vote in committee, and if he does as well as I think he might, I hope that they'll consider expediting his approval on the floor.
And have you had any discussions yet about
Okay, so that was
strategy
in regards to Merrick Garland. Another leading Democratic senator is coming at it from a different perspective. Senator Elizabeth Warren introduces ultra-millionaire wealth tax bill. Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat from Massachusetts, on Monday introduced a bill in the Senate that would impose a new tax on the assets of America's wealthiest individuals. The plan, which Warren introduced along with Representatives Pramila Jayapal and Brandon Boyle, is a similar proposal that was the centerpiece of Warren's campaign for the presidency in 2020. Warren, a new member of the Senate Finance Committee, has long sought a tax increase on millionaires and billionaires in the U.S. The bill would levy a 2% tax for people with a net worth between $50 million and $1 billion. Taxpayers with assets worth over $1 billion would be subject to a 3% tax increase. Now, this was, I believe Robert Reich tweeted out about this. A 2% tax increase, they wouldn't even feel it. They wouldn't even be any less rich than what they were at the start of the pandemic. And you can increase fucking taxes on every tax bracket down to like the one we're in, and Trump is still safe. The tax would not apply to people whose net worth is below $50 million. The bill's sponsors estimate that it would raise $2.75 trillion in tax revenue over a 10-year period. The ultra-rich and powerful have rigged the rules in their favor so much that the top 0.1% pay a lower effective tax rate than the bottom 99%, and billionaire wealth is 40% higher than before the COVID crisis began, according to a news release from Senator Warren. A wealth tax is popular among voters on both sides for good reason, because they understand the system is rigged to benefit the wealthy and large corporations. The measure is likely to fare better in the democratically controlled House than in the 50-50 Senate, where bills often need to receive 60 votes. Hopefully, after they get past the COVID relief bill, we can talk about nuking the filibuster and not having to have 60 fucking votes for everything. Do the Democrats have a spine? We will see. Because the people reward you if you go out and fight for them. And that is the reason why Bernie Sanders is still the most popular politician in America. Senator Bernie Sanders, an independent from Vermont, one of the most outspoken stimulus proponents in Congress, has a higher net favorability rating than both President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, according to a new poll. Which shouldn't be surprising. If you remember, at this time last year, Bernie Sanders had just won all the first primaries. He's been the most popular politician in America for like 5 years straight. And it's for good reason. He actually fights for the people. It's a shame he got fucked over last year. A poll released Tuesday by The Economist found that while 39% of respondents said they had either a somewhat or very unfavorable view of Sanders, 49% said they had a very or somewhat favorable view, giving him a net favorability rating of 10 points. Biden had a net favorability rating of 8 points due to 50% of respondents having a favorable view and another 42% having an unfavorable view of the president. The survey measured favorability for more than a dozen key political figures. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, another outspoken stimulus proponent, had a slightly positive net favorability of 1 point. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who blocked a vote for $2,000 stimulus checks, had by far the worst rating in the poll. Net favorability for McConnell was negative 48 points, with 65% viewing the Republican leader unfavorably and only 17% taking a favorable view. The poll also showed a negative 11-point net favorability rating for Senator Joe Manchin.